Hi, welcome to my channel and my late night streams when everyone is exhausted. Yeah, I am here, and I was always planning to do earlier streams, but as you can see from the state of my hair, this has been my evening. Yeah, yeah. So if you've seen my video, you'll see that my hair was a lot nicer earlier, but then I gave my kid a bath, and I forgot that what we call hair mincing happens after you expose your like fresh, nice, um, not oil the hair to the steam. Then your hair minces. So that's what happened to me, and yeah, so that's why I look like this right now. Also, I accidentally smudged my eyeliner. I posted a video a couple days ago talking about like a little short term thing, talking about how my son has pink eye, and I rubbed my eye thinking, oh my word, no, not me. Oh, damn it, that would suck because I have to try and look after him as well. And then as I did that, I pulled my hand away and my hand came off like black, and I was like, what? And I was like, oh no. So I had to redo my eyeliner. But that's parenting. That stuff happens all the time to me. Maybe I am just a dunce when it comes to parenting or klutz, or maybe I just don't take a lot of things too seriously. And my kid's having a conversation with himself. When I took him to the bathroom earlier, he told me that he had a dream about a friend with his name that looked exactly like him. I just really love the dance. Love kids. They say and do hilarious things. It's so awesome. I love kids. Um, and well, from the title you can tell I don't necessarily know how to do lots of things with kids, and or maybe like just in general how to parent. My son is my first kid, and I am always grateful for him. But sometimes I get it wrong. Sometimes I'm gonna be frank with you. I hate when he tells me no, and he does that all the time. But I also appreciate it because I understand he's expressing his personality and his likes, and he's trying to establish like who he is, and also he's trying to push back at the parental boundaries. But sorry, I'm also sick. That's why I sound like this. And yeah, and so I appreciate that. I really do. But also it's frustrating when it's when you as an adult think, okay, put on a jacket because it's cold or you're gonna get sick. And the kid goes, no, I don't want to wear a jacket. I'm getting on. And you're thinking, oh, why? So like it gets irritating. And so I figured I'd talk about some things that was surprising to me to discover as a first time mom with this kid that were just actually just blew me away as a parent. You know? The first thing really that I want to do is, so before we get into anything, I think we should pray. But I firstly want to mention a couple things that I learned about babies that really shocked the heck out of me because I did not expect these things to happen with like babies. So I'm gonna pray for a second. I need to stop doing that. And then I am going to hit straight into it. So just for like 1 second, if you don't mind closing your eyes for me. Father, we thank you that we can be here. We thank you that we can learn from each other about parenting. We thank you that we can help to raise our kids in the best way possible into well-rounded, well thought out, or well-thinking individuals that can have a good sense of purpose and a good sense of justice and express themselves without hurting each other or hurting themselves. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Okay. So yeah, so the things that I learned about kids, right? Is that the first thing that I learned that really shocked me is my son, as a baby, would not go to sleep, would not calm down until he listened to rock music. No lies. The rock music was what did it. And I don't mean like any rock music. I mean one band, one group specifically that got him to calm down, that got him to rest and go to sleep. Because he would not otherwise. And that band was Nickelback. So my husband and I had Nickelback on loop for like the first 2 years of my son's life. We just played Nickelback all the time because it was the only thing that calmed him down. And to this day, he still really likes rock music and Nickelback. And like, who would have thought that this is what can calm a baby down? Maybe it's, oh, sorry, I'm getting a little runny. Maybe, a little nose blowing ASMR for you there. Ugh. Okay, that should be okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Nickelback, like what? Nickelback, and that was just the craziest thing that Nickelback could. I'm looking for my hand sanitizer because I felt self-conscious. One second. Okay, I actually put my hand sanitizer away just before I did sit up. But anyway, so yeah, so Nickelback helped my baby, newborn baby, calm down, crying and fussing. Another thing that was so weird was I discovered that my son really loves these really soft blankets, right? And I thought it was just for the feeling, but I noticed that whenever he holds a soft blanket, he puts his thumb in his mouth and then he inhales it. He goes for the blanket. I know it sounds weird, but it actually calms him down. And I was so like amazed at like the smell of this blanket, maybe like of the Stay Soft or whether it's just the smell of the washing powder that we use, comforts him. And I was like, oh dang, that's crazy, because like other people will tell you do this or do that, and this will calm you down. And I just want to tell you right now, you don't know what you're dealing with when it comes to children. You find out as you're going along what kind of kid you have and what they're gonna respond to. Because like all of the things that people suggested to me I tried and none of those things worked. And I agonized and I got angry at the kid and at myself and at my husband, sorry, and all these kind of things and at my lack of understanding and my lack of being able to make things work. I agonized over these things and I got angry because people told me this was the way it was supposed to work and it wasn't working. And so until I started to realize, hey, you've got to stop paying attention to the kid and listen to what it is that helps him respond in the way that you need, that was when a shift started in my understanding of how to raise children. And that was when I discovered that certain things don't work. As a child, I grew up and I was given hidings. And when my son was born, I raised him with that same mindset of giving hidings. And after starting to learn about abuse and starting to untrain myself from abusive behaviors and toxic behaviors that I grew up learning, I realized it was wrong. And so I started to adjust those kind of things. And I actually learned a wonderful thing that you can actually get people to do what you want them to do without resorting to violence. Isn't that strange? But yeah, so that it just shows you that what people tell you and what people say is how you should do something is not necessarily always the case. And also, you do what is best for you and what's best for your family and what's best for your kids. And you learn that as you go along. And it can sometimes be an arduous journey, but other times it can be a very rewarding, very wonderful, very, how do I say, like a meaningful journey where you can be like, oh, damn, I wonder what the next one's going to be like. Or I wonder how this one's going to respond to having a sibling. Or I wonder how this one's going to respond in a setting of a bunch of different kids or in a blended family. Or how are they going to respond to their cousins and uncles and things like that. And that's really wonderful. And that's why I can say that it's a lot of fun to have kids around, and I love having kids around, which is kind of surprising because I was never much around kids. I was always nervous around them, and I spoke about that a little bit about being nervous about my purpose and all those kind of things. And I really think that it sort of leaked over into that area. That when it comes to children, I felt like I can't be around them because I'm not self assured, so I don't feel that I can protect them and keep them safe and all those things. Gosh, I've got a lot of trauma. But anyway, let's get to the Disney New Year, shall we? Quora. I love Quora so much. I can't say that enough. I love Quora. And so let's look at some parenting. Parenting. Yeah. Some parenting questions are Quora. We're going to try and see if we can say solve them or answer them or not. I don't think I need to answer any questions about Gentlewolves. Okay, let me just get to my nose quickly. I might have to pop some Vicks on it. I'm so sorry that this is the state that I'm in. But life goes on, I guess. It'd be very funny if someone joined stream at this very second and then was like, what the hell is this blowing nose ASMR? This flu ASMR. It's very tempting to make such kind of rubbish content because it gets popular really quickly. Okay, I put some Vicks on so I won't die. Yeah, I can breathe. Breathe it in. Having some. I forgot the spoon in my cup as well. These are all indicators that I'm really tired. Okie dokie. Parenting on Quora. What would you do if an elderly parent confesses to you that they did not protect you as a child? Well, there's a lot of people in my life that didn't protect me as a child, so I guess I just have the same upbringing. But if someone reveals to you that as a young child they didn't protect you, I guess you'd have to think about it as who am I now and how have I developed and am I okay now? That's how I would look at that. Am I okay now and can I process this? Can I understand this person's motives and can I be compassionate towards them and compassionate towards myself? So I think that's how I would deal with it. And what would I do? I guess I would forgive them because it's like it's been years ago, and unless it's something that fundamentally is going to change who I am, it should be okay, in my opinion. I think everybody's going to be okay, and talking, counseling, therapy, being open and honest, asking questions, all those things are going to help with the healing journey. Next, um, someone asked, after living with COVID-19 for the last 2 years, do you think that teachers should now be mandated to get vaccinated as a layer of protection to keep the children safe? Honestly, no, because teachers are very unlikely to be the ones that are passing COVID-19 to children. Because teachers don't spend that much time right next to children. Guess who spends that much time right next to your children? Their friends. Their friends, other children. or spending that much time next to each other, in each other's faces. And this is what I said about the pandemic and why mandating children to wear masks and to sit at shielded desks inside the classroom was the dumbest idea ever. Because the children don't do that when they go onto the playground. It doesn't make sense. The children are gonna, okay, think about it. Your kid goes to school, they go into a classroom and they sit at a desk with a shield around them or a face shield on, whatever. What happens when they go out to break time? They share sandwiches, they hug, they kiss, they talk to each other and pull down their masks. They sit right next to each other, sometimes even on top of each other. I'm not just talking about like amorous relationships, I'm talking about like friends doing friendly things. They roll around on the school grass. They they rough house with each other. That's children. That's your teens. They don't follow that. And especially with much younger children, they do not follow the rules at all. Because they don't understand the value of those rules. And if you're going to try and change their whole existence, it's almost useless because they don't appreciate those rules. And they will once understand what they're there for and how it protects them once they get older. But at that point, it doesn't work. So, forcing teachers to get vaccinated is not going to change much, I'm afraid. If you force the kids to get vaccinated, on the other hand, yeah, I guess that will work. But there's a serious ethical question there in forcing children to do something. So, yeah, not gonna work. How bad is gagging in babies? I'm not quite sure what the question is. Are you trying to say like the baby itself is gagging repetitively, or because then the baby could be choking or have something stuck in its throat, um, or just maybe be surrounded by a smell or something that I can't tolerate. Maybe I don't know. That question's like, oh, shame, man. This question is, what are some acceptable ways to discipline or correct a toddler's actions that does not include corporal punishment? This toddler hits his mother and throws things at her. Yeah, I had this problem with my kid a while back, and that was probably because I was dealing with his tantrums in a violent way. And the reason I say that it is violent is even like just a pat on the child's bottom or on the child's hand or whatever is you're not teaching the child to correct his action. You want to solve this with communication. So when it comes to like a toddler and they start throwing things, then maybe you say, I take away all of your toys except for five, and I get to choose the five of them. And as you behave, you get one back each time. That's what I did, and that kind of worked out. Um, a lot of the time, that works out. Another thing is that I'm not a huge fan of the threats. I'm working on that one as well. But sometimes I say, if you misbehave, you can't watch YouTube or you can't watch your favorite channel, or you can only watch what I want you to watch. I kind of hate that one, but it's a punishment, so it works. you know. So yeah, and the toddler hits his mother and throws things at her. Say, how do you like it when someone throws things at you? How do you like it when someone hits you? I don't like it. I don't do it to you. Why you do it to me? That really hurt my feelings. And that kind of communication gets the child to understand, I'm sorry, mom. I didn't mean to hurt you. I was just angry. And it's the same thing that you do if you're beating your child. If you're hitting your child in any way, or throwing things at the child. And let's just bear in mind that chances are some of these kids come from abusive homes where their dads are doing this or their moms are doing this to their dad. So they are learning from someone. You can't undo that without fixing the fundamental problems. Because as much as you try and train the child to do the right thing, if they're going to see that violence repeated in the environment, they're going to repeat those actions themselves. And they're going to take that anger out on other kids at school and other people in their immediate circle. And that's going to end them up not being able to connect with other people, which would be an absolute travesty. So consider if there's violence in your home or abuse, get the child into therapy, and try some non-offensive methods. Try to humanize your method of dealing with your child, and try to humanize the punishments. And another thing that I've learned is to make the punishments appropriate. So if the child throws something, things that they can throw get taken away, or something along the lines of that. Or for example, if they throw toys, then toys get taken away. If they throw a device, then TV time gets taken away. Just for an example. So yeah, like a nut. Okay. How do I convince my mom to let me get another piercing at 16? She said I can only have one piercing even though I offered to pay for them, like I did with my last piercing. I really want more and I think I'm old enough to know what I want for my body. Oh, that makes me sad. Because, I mean, in my opinion, 16 years old is old enough to make your own decisions. I would say so. Because 16-year-old kids they know the difference between right and wrong at that point, as long as you've raised them well to understand what the rules are and how to respect people and how to set boundaries, or how to sort of be rebellious in a healthy way by expressing themselves properly and clearly and saying they disagree with certain stuff, but compromising in some areas. And I know that she wants another piercing, and the problem here is that the motives for her wanting to get another piercing so soon might be because of friends or trying to seem cool in front of other people. And if that's the case, then she's going to want to get as many piercings as possible to satisfy herself, which is not a problem. It really isn't a problem. The problem is if your parent says to you, wait, that's a boundary that the parent has set. Your parent has already said that you can have one piercing. If you push against that boundary, you can possibly cause a problem where the parent will have a breakdown in the relationship. And even though it's not the child's responsibility, because 16 is still a child, even though they are autonomous, the situation is going to be a bit fragile. So I would think that maybe reassuring the parent, hey, I did not change at all as a person when I got this piercing. I'm still the person that you love. I'm still the person you raised. I still have the same morals and values. But I just really like piercings and I would like to express myself. And I think that that might be able to put your parent at ease. And so, that could help. So, yeah, I don't think coming across from the situation as I'm old enough and I want to do what I want to do with my body. Because that's what teens all say at that age. We all do that kind of thing. And our parents responded with a very firm, sometimes not polite, oh, hell no. But if you present that argument in, I love you, I'm not going to change, I'm still going to be your little girl, I'm still going to be your kid, and I do respect your values and things, and you raised me well enough to know right from wrong. This is just me expressing myself and being autistic and choosing who I want to be. And then I think that if your parent loves you, which it seems like because they allowed you to get a piercing in the first place, you might get through to them. Sorry. Here we go. Okay. What's a better way to help a new baby sleep? A snoo or a baby swing? Um, I have no idea. But I've heard that putting a child on your chest can help as well because they hear the beat of your heart. Um, I would think keep them as close to you as possible. But like I said before, Nickelback works. Keep Nickelback a try. Um, what is the meanest thing for a foster child to do? What is the meanest thing a foster child did to a foster parent? Okay, I would not know the answer to that question because I've never fostered and I don't know much about it. Um, how can I start my child speaking as soon as possible given that he's only 10 months old? Okay, this one really also applied to me because my kids started doing a bunch of stuff quite late. And although a lot of people were like, oh, my baby started reading at 3 seconds old or something. A lot of people are like that. Like, oh, what age did your baby start walking? My baby started walking in the womb. All that kind of stupid crap. And I just say, Let your kid grow at their own pace. Let them grow at their own pace. Let them be comfortable with their bodies. It's not a competition. It's not a competition. The only time you need to worry is when a pediatrician says to you, there's a developmental problem we need to look at. That's a serious issue. But let the child develop at their own pace. And a lot of the time, it's the things that you do with the child that encourages them to build those kind of skills. For example, if you spend time talking to your kid and not Google gaga because a lot of people don't support that anymore. Like talking to you, be like, "Hello, baby, how you doing? How's your day? You having fun? Oh, what's this, your favorite toy?" You know what I mean? That kind of thing. That encourages that positive response, and eventually get words and noises from a kid that sound like actual words. And I don't know, maybe I'm just a baby talk expert, but a lot of the time I can hear when children are saying things that sound like they are almost getting those words out, that their parents don't even notice. And I'm like, how do you not hear this? The child is saying that. The child is saying this, the child is saying that. And they're like, no, no. And I'm like, dude, legit. I asked the question or I said something. The kid is 1 or 2 years old, right? And they're not fully forming words yet. But you can hear some things. Listen carefully. Pay attention, and give them the benefit of the doubt because that praise can often help build them up into having the courage to uttering the words because you never know that might be a problem. It might be the confidence. So yeah, as I said, let them grow at their own pace. If push comes to shove and you're really worried, take the kid to the pediatrician. Let the pediatrician help you sort that out. Okay. Can I give pancakes to my 9-month-old baby? Yeah, I think babies can start eating normal foods from, I don't know, somewhere around 6 months, I think. 4 to 6 months, yeah. I can't really remember. The first food I started my son on was bananas, and then he had some avocado, and it was all mushy, smushy foods. Oh boy. But yeah, so I thought bananas really healthy, easy to prepare, and also really tasty, and yeah, nice enough sugars in and of itself. So yeah, pancakes to your 9-month-old baby, I think it should be okay. You might want to go easy on like processed cats. You might want to go easy on processed foods, but also you might want to go easy on the sugar if you are giving that stuff to a child that young. Maybe what I would do is I would cut out the sugar from the recipe and add the sugar manually afterwards by maybe drizzling some honey or by giving some sweet fruit like bananas or some grapes with the pancakes to kind of supplement the sugar and like it's not making it unhealthy. Though don't give grapes to like a 9-month-old baby, they'll choke, you know, unless you like chop it up or something, I don't know. But I didn't. I didn't give my kid grapes. Okay, how do I manage an 8-month-old baby and household? Oh God, I'm still struggling. My kid is 4 years old. I'm still struggling with this one. I think the biggest problem that parents have, whether it's a stay-at-home mom or a couple, whatever, is doing too much and not allocating the chores and responsibilities properly. And sometimes you get parents that don't want to help out with those chores. You get into situations where you've got husbands or wives that are like, I'm the one who's working. You're the one that's a stay-at-home parent. You need to take care of this and do all those things. And that sucks. It's the worst thing to be in that type of situation because going to work is not enough. It's not enough when you're running a family because providing is one of the basics of things. In the same way that your spouse making sure the child is alive is really just the basic. It's the basic. You shouldn't have to come home and go, is the child alive? Oh, okay, thank God. That's the person fulfilling the requirement. It's not. It's so much more than that. So, really working with your partner if you have one is going to be the key to managing all these things. The second thing is doing too much in one day is a bad, bad, bad idea. Sorry, and often leaves you feeling exhausted. I am exhausted all the time because I'm still having to learn properly stop doing too much in one day. It's my own fault because I try to get so many things in because I what I tend to do is I do to-do lists, but unfortunately I haven't mastered the art of doing a daily to-do list. I have one to-do list with a whole bunch of things on it. And unfortunately what tends to happen is I'll go down that list and tick off everything and then in one day I'll have tried to do like 7 or 8, maybe 9, sometimes even up to 12 things. And I'm exhausted, I'm burnt out, I haven't made enough time for my kid, I haven't made enough time for myself. Sorry. And I haven't made any time to rest. Yes, yes. Anyway, so yeah, so that happens because we're trying to do too much in one day. What the kind of role that I mean Enzo, because I'm scared he's gonna wake up. I don't want to wake him up while he's recovering. Yeah, so what I'm trying to focus on is doing no more than about 5 things a day. And right now I'm trying to figure out what those 5 things are. Whether those 5 things include streaming and YouTube, or whether those 5 things exclude that, and how much I can manage with my day, and how long each of these tasks are taking. Because as a parent, you really need to manage your time pretty well. Taking care of your kid is the basic. Feeding your kid is the basic. What you need to be doing daily is spending time with your kid. Whether that means stopping what you're doing and watching a movie, or watching one of your kids' favorite shows, or even sitting down and playing with them or reading a story to them. I like to take my son to the library and get some books in for a moment and read in a funny voice or whatever, because it encourages him to learn to read, and also because it's spending time together. And I also like to read the Bible with him in the evenings. Sometimes I don't have the time, and other times I'm just too exhausted. But I try to do those things, and I try to pray with him in the morning. And these are all things that make up the experience for the kid. So you can be working hard and hustling, making the money and stuff like that. But that kid is never going to remember you as a loving parent or as being there unless you're actually there. And that means the physical aspect of it. Sacrificing some of the I want to do X, Y, and Z today to do the I'm going to sit with a kid today. I'm going to sit with my kid every day kind of thing. Because that's what they need. And they need you more as they're younger and less as they get older. So you can always fit some of those things in later. If you've got a co parent or a husband or wife, whatever, it can be easier unless you're in an abusive situation where it's much harder. But yeah, so it's really just that time management and finding out where to fit what in and really not taking on too much each day. Um, like I thought to myself about like, for example, washing, right? You might think, oh, you do the washing and it's done. But washing is not one task. Washing is doing maybe 2 or 3 loads of washing, right? Hanging that washing on the line, fetching that washing from the line a couple hours later, and then folding that washing and packing that washing away. So that's not like one limited period of time task. It's like a whole day thing almost. And that takes up a lot of time. So washing can't be a one task thing. It's gotta be like a 2 or 3 hour thing on washing. And that's how you can fit things into your day. So you can set yourself up to spend 3 hours on washing in total for the day, because that includes folding, packing away. And then you can say to yourself, but inside of there I can fit 10 minutes to do some meditation or whatever, you know? Okay. I think I'm gonna do like one more, and oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the one more that I chose. Is it illegal for parents to put a camera in their 13-year-old bedroom. It's probably not illegal, but is it going to get that kid to trust you? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. This is worse than reading the kid's diary. This is worse. This is like those lovely apps where they say, keep track of your family kind of thing, which is literally just another way to spy on everyone. I mean, like, freaking, what are you, James Bond? You know? But it's like, why would you do this? What reason would you have to try and torture your kid like that? Have you raised a child that you so severely distrust that you gotta put them in like a 1984 type of situation? Like, no, man, come on. Just speak to your kid. Talk to them properly. Make sure that there's an open space for communication so that they will come to you when they've got issues and problems and that they will be available and you be available to them when they've got issues and problems. And don't try not to be judgmental. Understand that they're still learning and they're relying on you for a lot of that learning. And if you're not going to give them a good space and a good source to deal with the issues, you're going to have to deal with a lot of things that you might be uncomfortable with, or you're going to essentially be responsible for them falling into the wrong person's hands, and that's going to damage them. So just be a good parent. You don't have to spy on your kid to be a good parent. Hell, this isn't 1984. Anyway, okay, so that was some parenting questions from Quora that I thought were really, really good. And so I think we're going to go to our scripture of the day and we're going to end there because Mama Bear, it's tired. Okay, okay. So, yeah, let me just read this little quick shout out to Tyndale House publishers because I love them so much. Unless otherwise indicated, all the following scripture quotations are taken from the Holy Bible, New Living Translation, with copyright by Tyndale House Foundation, used by permission of Tyndale House Publishers, all rights reserved. Our scripture of the day comes from Ecclesiastes 9 verse 10, which says, whatever you do, do well, for when you go to the grave, there will be no work, or planning, or knowledge, or wisdom. So let's do things well while we're here on earth. Anyway, so many things. Because I learned a lot of things too. Anyway, thanks for being here and have a